right. We're also keeping an eye on these 2,000 or so airport workers. They work largely minimum wage. They want a higher minimum wage at $15. And they're the ones who are they're sweeping the floors. They're not baggage handlers per se, but they push around the carts and all that handle the baggage. It's kind of a union thing beyond that. But it's service union workers who feel that they are being slighted, and now it's travelers are being slighted. A lot of flights delayed, and it's causing a lot of disruptions. But for restaurants at these airports, I'm sure it's profitable business because what are you going to do? You eat. Your plane's not going anywhere, so you eat. Anyway, Mark Serrano joins us. Christy Shelter as well. Chrissy, as our slightly left-leaning guest here, do you think that they're going to lose the message here because they're making it very difficult in this environment for travelers?
Not if they make what their message is very clear, which is, look, you are experiencing a temporary disruption, maybe some pain even because of what we're doing, but the pain that we experience every day making minimum wage for jobs that you consider important might be pretty important too.
Well, I don't think they're going to feel that. I think they're going to think, well, that's fine for you to be offended and all that, but I'm missing my flight, I'm missing my family. I might not even get home to Grandma for Thanksgiving, which, depending on whether you like your grandma, could be a good or bad thing. I'm just saying, I often think a lot of these union guys don't think that through. They do not think the inconvenience through. Mark Serrano, what do you think?
Well, Neil, let's put this in a context. SEIU leaders are apparatchiks of the Democrat Party. They spent $68 million in the 2012 race on Democrats. So these union workers are being...
These low-wage workers, they might be pushed and pulled here, but they're not, big party devices here. They might be pawns, but I think we ought to be careful.
They are.
But go ahead.
They are. But look, in the post-9/11 world, I think any job in transportation is a sensitive position. Look, terrorists could infiltrate their ranks, okay, and take advantage. So they're sensitive positions. I think really what's going on here is they are being used. And the reality is, just like Ronald Reagan did with air traffic controllers in 1981, if they don't like their jobs, they ought to just leave them, or they ought to be fired if they don't show up tomorrow. There are 95 million people in America with that.
A lot of them, they're picketing outside New York's major airports. They're doing the same in Philadelphia, Fort Lauderdale, Boston, Chicago. They include cleaners and wheelchair attendants, baggage handlers. I'm told not quite the baggage handlers, but the guys who give the baggage to the handlers. I don't understand the distinction. I'm just getting it out there.
I don't either.
But in other words, they might have a legitimate beef, but they are only making those who could be sympathetic to their cause angry. That's not good.
Well, in some cases that may be the case, but I would say in a lot more cases they're actually getting out their message and they're letting people know who hadn't heard about their plight before about it. I mean, look, we're talking about it right now. So you may or may not agree with the tactic, but, the fact that they are getting their message out is definitely something to be applauded.
All right, so Mark Serrano, when you catch your plane later today, good freaking luck. They see you. You better run.
Yeah, I'm going to tell them you're fired because you should be, because they ought to show up and go to work. Because there are 95 million people, 95 million people outside the workforce today who would probably, some of whom would probably like those jobs. They have good benefits, and they ought to be fired. And and look, $15 minimum wage. Why isn't it 20?
All right, guys,
why isn't it 25?
They're fighting for good jobs. Good jobs.
I do want to take you to the floor of the House right now, guys, if we can.